Good morning, aspirant. I hope everyone is doing good and everyone is now back on the track. The festive season is over. Still, Chhat Puja is underway, but still, I would suggest be on track, study well, and focus on the remaining 13 days. Okay. Yesterday there was many development happen, and most important is like upcoming ASEAN summit, then the at a national international level ASEAN summit, then the Donald Trump's sanction on the Russian oil import, what will be the implications for India, and the Indian commerce minister is in the Europe, Germany, talks about the EU trade. Then domestic level, if you see domestic level, there is a rainfall, retreating rainfall in the Tamil Nadu area. Then the police reform, the 22nd of the recently the police commemorating day was celebrated. So what are the police force, particularly GS3 topic. Then the yesterday the most important development, finally Indian women's team enter into the semi-finals of World Cup. Okay, and that was the one very good story. The perseverance, despite three consecutive good matches, India lost the three matches, and finally India won the match with the New Zealand. Okay, so we will discuss the ethical dimensions and overall the other dimensions. So let's start with our first topic, the police reform. Okay, police reform, basically what are the police reforms, what are the major police force. Okay, see, this police force origin and started with the police commemoration day. Rajnath Singh the late form. So when this policing started in India, if you see the 1793, the office of Fauzdar, also called SHO, was set up by Lord Cornwallis. Okay, from there the police service evolved the very different way, and the Indian Police Act 1861 laid the foundation for the commissionerate system, then the subdivision of the police, then the subjugation of the SP power to the collectorate. Okay, initially it was a collector who handling the judicial power also and legal power also, means the police power, law and order power also. But in modern time, Britishers set up the current what is the IPS, SP, all these are the like covenant civil services, and that police force covenant civil services started with the Lord Cornwallis Code of 1793. Okay, but today we are going to discuss the current status of Indian police. What exactly the police? What are the issues? Their contribution to maintaining the internal security. If you remember the 2008 attack, there is the best example, the police sacrifice, and police are the invisible hands which are protecting the body structure of India in a very closer way. Okay, very means if you see the army, everyone appreciate the army. There is no doubt that their work is more visible, but the police work sometimes criticized, sometimes because of the means unruly behavior, and the people are afraid about the police. The even the synergy between the civil society and police force is very lack of respect in this thing, and civil society did not appreciate the police effort as much as the arm their counterpart of army. Okay, but do remember the police contribute very much as much army contribute at the border at an international level. Okay, maintaining the border is the responsibility of the army, and maintaining the internal security, external security will be looked after by army, and internal security will look after by the Indian police forces. So police, particularly if you see the law and order subject. Okay, law and order subject is under state. That's why the central government have limited power to modernization of police and this. But do remember the police and law and order particularly comes under the state, and the state have their unique system. But the Indian Police Act of 1861, which laid the framework for the Indian police system. Okay, this is now we'll look after the what are the statistics, how many police are there in India across the all the state, what which state are lacking, which state are the more police force, and the woman empowered woman police force in the overall the police force. Okay, so let's start with the this is in the news. Okay, police force statistics, 22 lakh police personnel has been the approximately forces there, one of the largest. Okay, then this is the Bureau of Police Research and BPRD. Okay, this talks about the ratio India, and do remember 224 is suggested by the UN for 1 lakh population police force. India have 154 for 1 lakh. Okay. So this is the data on the police force, even recommendations, even the shortages are there. Issue I will discuss, but this is the current state, and the Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, they have the more police force to look after the population to the police ratio is more in Tamil Nadu. Even the representation of women is around 9 to 11% in the Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra compared to the Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. Okay, so this is the statistics. Do remember 22, and even the central government have their own police forces like CAPF, Central Armed Police Forces. If you remember, Central Armed Police Forces. In this, there are different forces. BSF is there, ITBP is there. Okay, CISF is there, CRPF is there. Okay, so these are also, even NDRF is also come from this. Okay, these are also comes under the police forces. Okay, so overall, India is one of the largest police forcing network. This is, now let's talk about what is the contribution of the, like, how police force is contributing the overall invisible hands of India's strengthening. Okay, if you remember, in the starting also, the police action to conquer the Goa was taken by Indian polices in 1950s. Okay, 1960s. So first, do remember the police action, it was not army action first. Then if you remember the second 2008 terrorist attack, our brave warriors, like brave warriors, police constables who fought to the terrorists, who sacrificed supreme, contributed to supreme sacrifices. Then the 1971, the Ladakh incidents, okay, to protect the borderline, ITBP. Then our BSF forces, okay. Then the, even the particularly the Chota Rajan gang eradication, eradication of the underworld from the Bombay. All these are be contributed by the contribution of the Indian police forces. Okay, do remember, means maintaining the police. Police have the dual burden from the uh, political masters also, and burden from the people also. So police is fully balancing that, balancing the both side, and the sometimes police are under many times criticized for n number of reasons, but police force contribute positively. Their positive contribution need to be appreciation, need to be appreciated. Okay, and nowadays if you see the cyber security, cyber, the recruitment process, everything, all these are the, means now, from the menace of cyber security, from the menace of women violence, these are the factors which are making Indian police force modernization. 2015, government of India provided financial support, started the police modernization scheme. Okay, police modernization scheme, and under this, the central government provide the financial support to the state to modernize the police forces. Okay, so this is a police force as a first respondent, as I told, the first line of action crime. If we see, generally see, during the yesterday's Diwali festival also, we all were enjoying our Diwali festival, but if you remember, the police forces were standing to protect us. Not all police forces, not all police personals are corrupt, not all police personals are the dishonest, or they are the rude. It is their working hours, it is their pressurized. Sometimes if you, one of my own experience, I would say to I would wanted to share with you, one person, head constable, who continuously worked for 3 days during the Ganpati festival. Can you imagine how much work stress, despite the lack of available technology, lack of the facilities, even sometimes the basic amenities, toilet, washrooms are not available for the ladies police forces. Okay, this is the issue, but still, police force is the first respondent. Okay, first respondent. Then the era in the particularly 2008, even during the Simla flood. Okay, who was the first respondent? If you see, means in any and each and every domain, first respondent is the police force. Police force will be there. Police force will become, and police force will look after everything. Okay, even recently the one IPS incidents happened with the Maharashtra deputy CM. The IPS was upholding the rule of the law, and the political masters are intervening. Okay, so do remember this: the public order mentioning the primary link between the state and society. Okay, so these are the, now Despite this much thing, there are police modernization scheme, national integration scheme, cyber training, cyber means training to the police forces. Despite this thing, I want to give more emphasis on the what is hitting you, the issues and challenges faced by police forces. The first and foremost, the questioning of the political neutrality of the police forces, the political interference in the police force. Okay, this is the colonial mindset, because when police force was established by the colonial masters, their prime agenda was to protect their interest, not the citizen, but Indian Penal Code. If you remember, the name was Indian Penal Code. Now the name has changed to the adopt the our culture, our thing, that is a Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Samhita. That means we are protecting the citizens' right. Police is to protect the citizen, not to the penalize the citizen. Okay, and this is the one of the factor, political interference. This is a colonial mindset era. Then the public perception, towards the police forces. This is the external factors. Internal factors also I will discuss. The police perception, the way police means the way citizens look after the police forces is like something criminal mindset, or something they are rude, they are corrupt, like this perception is negative. For, and comparative to the army we have the positive perception. Army we have the positive perception, but we did not recognize the police contribution, despite they are contributing 24 into 7. Okay, the third one is, like, if I want to talk about the domestic means internal issue in police forces, the recruitment level process, then the lack of technological upgradation, the mental pressure. Okay, if there was one report around 6,000 CRPF police personnel committed suicide because of the mental health. And why this is mental health? Because the 2-3 days continuous working days, working 2-3 days, they are continuously working under very tremendous pressure. Okay, so this is the issue. The internal, then lack of infrastructure, as I mentioned. If you see, first of all, the vacancies are very high. Most important vacancy, 39% is in the West Bengal, highest police vacancies. Then 32% in the Haryana. Okay, this is the thing. This is the level. If 39% posters are vacant, how that police personnel cater the needs of the citizen? How they can protect the citizen? So vacancies, internal, lack of infrastructure, as earlier I mentioned, to the, like basic amenities, drinking water, basic amenities of the availability of washroom. Then gender bias, gender gap between in the police forces. Only at the India level, there are 3% only police forces are, now it has ranged to 9%, but still 9% is very less compared to the OECD police force income. Okay, this is the one of the issue, lack of woman empower, lack of woman representation in the police forces. Okay, then lack of adequate technology. If you see American police, if you see, they are carrying cameras, they are carrying protection. In 1960s, with just one lathi and the cap, they used to protect the citizen. Police, at least now we have increased the this upgradation has done, but still the issues still remain, without any protection, without during the this rainfall, means monsoonal rainfall. They are there to protect us, but we are not recognizing. This is also issue. Okay, and one more issue I just want to highlight, that the overall the police police administration always under the pressure from the citizen, or from, they are not, means no, they are not let the work impartially. Okay, if you best example is uh, Andhra Pradesh, the one of the IPS officer who recently took VRS, the Siddharth Kaushal, and he did not mention the political interference, political marginalization, but he did mention the means he did mention his personal reason. But the reason was, the when report found out, the Siddharth Kaushal, IPS officer, IPS, just think about the IPS officer who took VRS. Okay, and the issue of corruption, the former DGP of Punjab, the Akbar Singh, this issue is going on. Okay, and this shows the how the police forces are grappled with the challenges. Okay, and these challenges need to be addressed. Okay, even the journals in case of 2006, government of means Supreme Court has given the direction to the fixed tenure of DGP, then the procedure exactly, but very few states are following that the direction. Recently there was a no police head, no permanent police head in the Tamil Nadu police force. Can you imagine? Tamil Nadu, like developed state, is not appointing the full-time permanent police head. Just think about what will happen. Okay, so this is overall the challenges faced by the police forces. Okay, public trust deficit, as I mentioned. Now what we can do to the complexity of the crimes, as I mentioned, the rise of the cyber security, cyber crimes. Okay, this is becomes very critical nowadays. And if you see the gangs, yesterday there was news that the uh, joint cooperation between the Bihar police and Delhi police killed the four gangsters in the early hours of Thursday. Okay, so this is the cooperation is needed. Now, what are the government support and what government is want to make the police forces upgraded? Okay, so first one is like Supreme Court Prakash Singh judgment of 2006. Okay, this judgment is very important, which provide the fixed tenure. Okay, this which provide the fixed tenure. Then the even the second administrative reforms commission asked for the adequate, even the IR committee of 2013, the reform and most tremendous reform in the police force has come through the three passing of the three new laws: Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Samhita, and Bharatiya Sakshi Samhita. This act provided is the very good, like, innovative idea: zero FIR, adoption of the digital evidences. Okay, all these factors, even the recognizing the giving the more powers to the police forces to maintain community service, community policing, and changing the overall the criminal justice system face and the face of the police. So these three acts are very important to upgrade the, change the, transform the image of the Indian police forces. Okay, then the second one will come the adaptation and upgradation of the technology. If you see in the 200 years of Chambal Daketi, there was around 2 or 3 crore loot. But just think about the cyber. In a 1 year, cyber threats, cyber loot is 2000 crore. So upgradation of technology, training to the police forces. And if you remember that now the even the state have changed the recruitment police, the lawyers, the professionals, they are coming at the constable level. Earlier there was a trend that the IPS, IAS, IPS officers, those are well educated work. But now the constable, SHOs, SI recruitment is like they are means three level of transaction happening at the ground level also and at the upper level also. So this is need to, this transformation will help to upgrade the modernize the police forces. Then the synergy between the two state police forces, as I gave the example of Bihar and Delhi police have coordinated to kill the four gangsters. Okay, and even the fund provided funding is done by the central 2015 the police modernization scheme. That is also important to upgrade the, then the punishing the corrupt police officers. And how this can be done? Either they punish them, suspend them, and do recruit more police forces at the local level. Okay, because this means recruitment will reduce the burden on the existing police forces. Okay, and this will help to overall the generate the faith in the police forces. Okay, the one more thing is like I want to mention the giving them the psychiatrist, addition of the psychiatric person in the police forces to just look after the health of the police forces. Actually police are also citizens, they are also human beings, and even they are wearing this uniform, it doesn't mean they don't have feelings, it doesn't mean that they don't have the mental issues, health issues. So to look after that issues, we need to give the some psychiatrists, some meditation schemes, some ethical training to the police forces. Okay, so these are the ways through which we can upgrade or we upgrade and modernize our police force. Okay, So do remember this thing. Then the police modernization scheme, Government of India, the National Police Mission recommendation, strengthen the forensic support and the specialized units mental health, as I mentioned. Okay, community engagement, build the trust and cooperation. The conclusion, the police force. So it is important, it is paramount important to make Indian police force at a very strong, robust, to support the goal of Vikasit Bharat by 2047. Okay, so these are the ideas through which we should means now government, and we should from the starting we should trust on the police force. Okay, trust. And Gandhiji once said that the most good place to think is the jail. And nowadays the way we are living in the democracy, the way we our police forces are transforming, not all police forces are rude, not all police personnel are rude, but those who are there, there is a mechanism. If SP is not listening, the SSP is there. SSP is not listening, the DGP is. If DGP is not listening, the means people representatives are there. Okay, so reduction of the politicization of the police forces, then non-intervention of the police force, then the police force work, then the good recruitment, upgradation of technology, taking care of mental health, all this will channelize the Indian police force to a modernized police force. Okay, so this is overall police force, their challenges, their contribution, and the overall the way forward to upgrade their police. Okay, so this is the overall. Okay, done. Now we will move forward to our next article. This is the prelims question, like you should go through this question. As I mentioned, there are, this is the domestic issue protection of the in the society, but there is a global issue also, international issue, and we are going to discuss that. That is one of the issue, the ASEAN. Okay, what is ASEAN? Association of Southeast Asian Nations, 1967. Okay, Jakarta. Okay, Bangkok Declaration, 10 countries. This 27th October summit will add the new Timor-Leste East Timor as an 11th member. Okay, and the rice is their symbol, because UPSC had asked the question on the what is the symbol of the ASEAN, motto and symbol of the ASEAN. Okay, UPSC had asked this year question on the BRICS and the BIMSTEC. So there is might be chances that UPSC will ask the question on ASEAN, and Indian External Affairs Minister will represent the India at ASEAN summit. Okay, but our Prime Minister will address this summit virtually. Okay, in 1992, 2002, 2022. Okay, and today's 25. 1992, India. Okay, this is journey. Let me show you the journey. Might be there is journey. Okay, this is initial engagement. See, limited engagement during the Cold War, but 1992, the Look East policy onwards, India became the sectoral dialogue partner and the full dialogue partner in 1919, summit level in 2000. Then the comprehensive strategic level partnership up to 2012. Then the India launched its Look East policy, sorry, its Act East policy in 2015. Okay, and that Act East policy became the pioneer harbinger for the India ASEAN ties. Okay, in this context we will discuss the why India is engaging with too much with ASEAN, what is the significance of ASEAN, what are the challenges India is facing by when India is engaging with ASEAN, and how we can manage that challenges. Okay, so this is the evaluation. 1992 ASEAN form in the 1967 Bangkok Declaration. Okay, then till 1992, due to the Cold War, there was limited engagement. Then 1992, sectoral partner. 2002, summit level engagement. 2012, strategic partnership. And 2022, 30 years of the bilateral ties, we have increased to the strategic, comprehensive strategic level partnership. Okay, so this is overall evaluation of India ASEAN ties. ASEAN is a 10-member association of Southeast Asian nations, grouping, regional grouping, which look after the economic, political, and security dimension of the ASEAN. India have the very good ties with individual ASEAN countries also, and overall ASEAN bloc also. India have appointed the special ambassador, foreign officer for the ASEAN affairs. Okay, so do remember this. We will discuss the significance of the ASEAN for India. Okay, the first and foremost the significance is this is the Act East policy, as I told, 2015 significance of the economic significance, gateway to the East Asia. If you see 110 billion to one presently 2020 to 23, this is the trade. Okay, India ASEAN trade partner. It's Singapore is one of the largest employer, then largest providing the economic dimension. Trades is there, 136 billion trade happening between India and ASEAN countries. India and ASEAN have the FTA, which was signed in 2009, that is hosting the India ASEAN trade partnership. Then FDI, Singapore is one of the largest investor in the FDI in India. Okay, employment generation, employment in employment domain, Indians are providing more service to the ASEAN countries. Okay, then the palm oil import, India import the more palm oil from Indonesia and Malaysia. Okay, so these are the 8 economic pillars on which India and ASEAN countries are engaging. Okay, so next one is automatically will be the defense strategic geopolitical. See, ASEAN is a pillar of India's activist policy, India's free and open Indo-Pacific policy, and the counter-terrorism policy to contain the China. This is the importance, geostrategic importance of ASEAN and India, importance of ASEAN for India. And India is engaging through the East Asia Summit, through the ASEAN India Defense Ministerial Dialogue, ADMM plus. Then the annual summit is there, India ASEAN annual summit is there. Okay, and the coherence synergy between the India's Mahasagar policy to ASEAN's free Indo-Pacific policy. Okay, there is coherence between the ASEAN and India, and both ASEAN and India are threatened by the China. So strategic importance is also there. The free India and ASEAN armed forces conducted the joint first maiden military exercise in the South China Sea in 2022. Okay, so these are the East Asian Summit, ARF, ASEAN Regional Forum, the Maritime Order, free and open maritime order. These are the security significance. Then the next one is connectivity and cultural links. Taladan multi-purpose project, India, Myanmar, Thailand trilateral highway, then the Ganga, Mekong Ganga Cooperation Project. Okay, all these are the connectivity project. Even this is the physical connectivity. Just think about the digital connectivity. Digital connectivity. Singapore was the first one of the first country from the ASEAN which accept the BHIM Pay, which accept the UPI model. Okay, and Singapore, the ties, the cultural ties is also very important. You see, recently the standoff between Cambodia and Thailand was because of the Indian Shiva temple. Okay, this stand of the this much our reach is there, culture historically time. Then the Thailand Ramayana, we celebrate the Thailand Ramayana. Cambodia also inspires inspire for the Buddhist. There is ASEAN, around 300 students are taking the Buddhist education in the Nalanda University. Okay, these are the cultural ties. Buddhism, means particularly the Buddhism, language, culture, all these are the factors which are promoting the India to engage with ASEAN countries. Okay, even in Singapore, second largest language is the Tamil, Indian language. Okay, so do remember these are the transit, as I told, the Kaladan multi-power project, India, Myanmar, Thailand trilateral highways, even the India Japan have opened the new economic corridor which passes through the Myanmar, Thailand. Okay, so these are the connectivity project, cultural connectivity and digital connectivity. Now, people to people ties. If you think about the people to people ties, as I told, the people to people track diplomacy is very important pillar of India ASEAN bilateral ties. Okay, and we have exchanges of the people, we have the exchange of the issues, we have the people are carrying the informal ambassadors of the India ASEAN bilateral ties. Okay, so how many? Around 2 million populations are there, which is looking after the India ASEAN, means promoting the India ASEAN interest. Okay, so this is the India ASEAN connectivity. And apart from this, global level, ASEAN support India's claim for the UNSC. India also support for the ASEAN sovereignty, ASEAN's protecting the ASEAN's regional interest through the threat of China. But there are many issues, if you ask me, there are many issues which are hindering the ASEAN's trade imbalance. India have the nearly 40 billion trade deficit with ASEAN countries, and the reason is this: because there is China factor. This China factor, what China is doing? China is dumping their goods in ASEAN country, and through ASEAN, it is channelizing in India. Because India sanctioned the post Galwan clash. India sanctioned the China for their unnecessary dumping of the goods. But because of this secondary channelization, siphoning from the China to ASEAN, ASEAN to the India, there is issue of the trade deficit. This is the first and primary challenge. The second challenge is the Myanmar issue, the border conflict between Myanmar, which ultimately is hindering the India's cooperation with ASEAN countries, and the delay in the Kaladan multi-purpose project, then the Rohingya issue. All these are factors which are limiting the India's engagement with ASEAN countries. Myanmar junta regime and the instability in the Myanmar, they coincide with each other, which makes India to think twice before the engaging with ASEAN countries. Okay, then the in ASEAN also, ASEAN is not a homogeneous monolith cultural. There are many factors, many different countries. Thailand is going to USA, then the Myanmar is going towards China. So there is within group there is rivalry, which is ultimately hampering the India's and ASEAN ties. Some country more give emphasis to the more give the emphasis to the promotion of India ASEAN ties. Other country gives the importance to the promoting the ASEAN China ties. Okay, so this thing is happening, and the instability, the border conflict between Cambodia and Thailand are the remembrance of the how the both bilateral countries are struggling to form their each others. Okay, so this is the means grouping. Within there is a conflict. These are the factors which are limiting the India ASEAN. The connectivity delays, the Kaladan multi-power project, as I mentioned, is a very limited, the limited integration of supply chain. Okay, supply chain is one of the factor, but due to the India's over dependence on the palm oil from the Malaysia, Indonesia, and the India's Singapore FDI, there is very less integration of the supply chain, like providing the goods services trade is there, but the goods trade is very limited because of the lack of supply chain, because of the uh, lack of that much the integration of the supply chain. Okay, so the lack of the supply chain, connectivity delays, and the China factor plays very important role in overall the India ASEAN bilateral ties. Even though India is having FTA with the FTA with the ASEAN countries, but that is backfiring India. And India, this post in the month of November, India is going to review that FTA. Okay, so this is the issue with the FTA. The next one is maritime and security complexity. India is ASEAN divergent in the responses to South China Sea tensions. China's and Belt and Road make it difficult for India. So this is also very important factor. How China is bullying the ASEAN countries to take their side. India's delay in the process, India's sorry, India's focus on the more particularly the smooth, quiet diplomacy is hampering and ASEAN support the China's Belt and Road Initiative. ASEAN, some countries oppose the China's claim on the South China Sea, but other countries, some countries support. Take the example of Vietnam. Take the example of Philippines. Philippines, India is largest exporter, so exporting the BrahMos missile to the Philippines, the Philippine country. Then India having the bilateral ties with Cambodia. India is having the good ties with Malaysia and Indonesia. Okay, despite this, certain countries are asking China, they are more favor to China rather than the India. And this is the factor, this limiting the engagement between India and ASEAN countries. Okay, so do remember this. Now, the political transition in the region. As Myanmar, I mentioned the transition also. Now, what exactly we can do to handle this bilateral ties between India and ASEAN? Okay, so first one is, if you ask me, the first one is related with the how India deals tackle the China. India's best is India have opened the its new strategic policy of the project at a Great Nicobar. This Great Nicobar project gives emphasis on gives emphasis on the connecting the ASEAN countries. India's looking at its policy gives more. India is partnership with Japan. India is giving more development assistance in the south. I means our Ashtalakshmi is Ashtalakshmi. I mean to Ashtalakshmi. I mean to the our northeastern region to open the gateway to the ASEAN countries, because India has the connectivity with the ASEAN, and once you connect the Myanmar, there will be can direct pathway to the reach the Vietnam also. The land connectivity, okay, that land connectivity will help to integrate the supply chain, will help to transport the goods, will help to transport the services also. Okay, then India's maritime security, India considered as a net maritime security provider in the North Indian Ocean, and in this ASEAN Navy, the more growing assertiveness of China can be controlled by with the help of Indian Navy. Okay, and the second one is India's adaptation of the UPI technology can be a best example from the perspective of the digital connectivity. Even the data security, the digital public infrastructure practices can be adopted by the ASEAN countries. For example, the Malaysia, Indonesia, and as Malaysia and Indonesia are supplying the more palm oil, they can supply the technology also how to cultivate the how means promoting the connectivity between the agriculture communities. Okay, then if you think about the health and hospitality, India is considered the world pharmacy on one hand, and the second hand, India is also promoting the mm, health tourism. So ASEAN countries most can gain mostly can get the benefit from the this health tourism, can get the benefit from the overall how the measured hospitality services and the tourism. Okay, then the Buddhist circuit we have developed and we can train the people of ASEAN, those who are monks and everyone who was coming in India, giving the free pass to them. Even the Thailand has given the free access, Malaysia has given the free visa free access to the Indian. Similarly, we can give to the Asian people, and those who are issue Rohingya issue, Myanmar issue can be addressed through the discussion and dialogue. Myanmar is important for India's stability in the northeastern region. So engaging with Myanmar through the ASEAN is one of the way to tackle the Myanmar junta and the Manipur instability. Ultimately, the security and terrorism post Pahalgam attack, most of the ASEAN countries supported the India's Operation Sindoor and India's claim for the protection of its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Okay, so these are the factors through which India and ASEAN countries can reinforces their overall development, their overall engagement in the coming time. As US is retreating, the global order is in uncertainty. Okay, so even the India can take an example to revive this SARC and BIMSTEC. Okay, BIMSTEC is already going well, but India can take example of ASEAN to revive the SARC. The trade between the India and ASEAN can be reviewed, and there will be the more partnership between India and ASEAN. Okay, so overall these are the ways through which India and ASEAN countries can partnership with each other and make a fruitful relationship in the coming time, and to make a stable SARC region and the ASEAN region. Okay, so overall, these are the engagement, these are the bilateral, these are the bilateral issues addressed by the India and ASEAN countries. Even the India Chennai Vladivostok corridor that can help to build an alternative way that can help to connect the ASEAN countries. Okay, by these notes, I will end my ASEAN topic and I will move forward to our next topic. It's a like particularly the ethics related topic. Okay, so this is collaborative global challenges. Collaborate on the, and there is three: collaboration. Okay, collaboration, cooperation, and mutual interest. Okay, so this is the pillars. This should be the pillars of India ASEAN bilateral ties. Okay, so this is the conclusion. Now tell me that today was the day 24th of October 1823, Rani Chinnamma, because our honorable Prime Minister going to inaugurate the Rani Chin Kittur, okay, Kittur War, okay. This is the anniversary 24th of October 1823. Rani Chinnamma from the Kittur of Karnataka fought against the British might, okay, during the 1823. So do remember the bravery of the Indian freedom women who participated in the freedom fighters. Rani Chinnamma was a lone warrior who fought for against the atrocities and the encouragement of the Britishers in the Kittur region of the present day Karnataka. Okay, so this is the important. From here, I would want to mention some ethical dimension. Do remember the Rani Chinnamma's contribution. Okay, even the Rani Gaidanlu and all these, the Rani Gaidanlu, then the Pritilata Wadekar. These women contributed for India's freedom struggle, and the freedom struggle they are not contributed only in the. There are 10 to 15 Indian women who are Begum Rukaiya, then the Rani Gaidanlu, then the our Usha Mehta, okay, mm, Ramaji Ranade, okay. All these are women where who contributed for the India's freedom struggle. And there was one question in prelims: how the women's contribution in India's freedom struggle. Okay, so do remember, you should remember the Rani Sarla Devi Chowdha Rani. Okay, I will mention the 2 3 name. Okay, Rani Chinnamma, Rani Chinnamma, Sarla Devi Chowdha Rani. Okay, then Begum Rukaiya, Arunasaf Ali, Pritilata Wadekar, okay. Anyone from the Rani? One was the Rani, queen from the Tamil Nadu. I'm not able to remember her name, but she was the first who fought against the British atrocities, and Rani Chinnamma came second. Okay, then this is the not Rani Sarla Devi Chowdharani from the Western India, Usha Mehta, Ramabai Ranade. Okay, so these were the women who contributed the India's freedom. Kittur, Sarla Devi Chowdharani, Bharat Stri Mahamandal Association for Women. Okay, Anne Besant also you can mention. Anne Besant, okay, Anne Besant Home Rule Movement. Okay, then the Begum Rukaiya eradication of the poverty and the overall the development of the women. Okay, then the Aruna Asaf Ali, the freedom struggle of Quit India movement. Rani Gaidanlu, I would mention here the Rani Gaidanlu, which in the 1942 Quit India movement. Pritilata Wadekar, the so-called revolution of 1930s. Okay, Aruna Asaf Ali, then the Pritilata Wadekar, Aruna Asaf Ali. All these are the, do remember the 15 to 16 women which are not that much prominent. Even the Jhalkari Bai, Rani of Jhansi. Okay, so all these were the women who contributed for the India's freedom struggle. Today was the anniversary on Kittur revolt. So we are talking, I was just mentioning this. The next one is our commerce minister. Our commerce minister visited the, okay. Our commerce minister visited the Germany. Okay, Germany, India ties. Okay, Germany India ties. As we know, Germany and India are cooperating in many factors, particularly the EU FTA, okay, and sharing the bullet train practices. Okay, bullet train means like connectivity practices. There is Indo-German technological hub. Okay, Indo-German technological hub. All these are the factors which, and this visit is important because India is more focusing on the diversification of its market, reducing the dependence on the market from the overall India's from the USA. Okay, India's dependence on the USA for the market. And recently, if you get to know that there was one report. This topic is over. Do remember, no need to study Germany in individual domain, but you can study India EU ties. Okay, India EU ties. This is the overall broader heading. Now, one more. I just want to the consumer spending during the festive season has reached 6.4 lakh crore Indian rupees. This is high from the 4 lakh crore of 2024. Okay, and this 6.4 lakh crore, what are the factors for this 6.4 lakh crore high consumer spending? The GST reforms, GST 2.0, good monsoon. Okay, the price inflation in control. Okay, then the income tax reform. Okay, wage employment is high, formal employment is increasing. Okay, so first is GST reform. On the 22nd of September 2025, this our honorable prime minister launched the GST 2.0 reforms that reduce the prices of the goods, consumer goods, particularly consumer festive goods. Okay, and one more important fact: this spending is 67% of the spending is from the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Earlier, there was prices of the essential commodities are in the control, prices of the certain commodities. Even the RBI's policy targeting the inflation, that is also controlled. In the last 8 years, inflation is within the bandwidth of 6. It is now 1%. This is a headline inflation. Okay, and this headline inflation is UPSC had asked earlier in 2024 prelims what is headline inflation, what is core inflation. Okay, so core inflation excluding the food and fuel. Headline inflation, who measures this inflation? RBI measures this inflation, and RBI's primary responsibility is to price stability, not the economic growth. Okay, primary responsibility. Then the intervention from the external market, the domestic trend is there. Okay, and the overall the spending, the income tax reforms of 2025, there is no income tax below 12 lakh annual income. Okay, those who are earning below 12 lakh, there is no income tax. Even the new income tax bill has a reform, the promise the modernization. This has shown the India's rising the consumer demands. Okay, and this consumer spending is a backbone of India's economy because during 2008, during 2002, when India was under sanction, the consumer spending was very high. The consumer spending was more in the within, and that's why the many countries, so many MNCs want to open their market in India. Okay, so this is the overall our perspective. This is the overall our the how the spending is increasing and the spending leading to the economic boost. Despite this us sanctions on India imposing the 50% tariff, we have shown the 12% hike in India's overall growth, 12% in the monthly wise, and the trade, even the export has increased. India has diversified its export market, from USA to the Argentina, USA to Latin America, USA to the Australia. Okay, so India is how chartering these external shocks because the global environment is very uncertain. Okay, this is the news about consumer spending. Do remember about what is consumer price index, who measures the consumer price index, what is the inflation, what are the impact of the inflation, who measures the inflation, why we want to control the inflation, what is headline inflation, what is core inflation. Okay, so do remember. And the next, our last short news is about the Russia Ukraine conflict. Okay, there is news that the Donbass region, okay, Donbass region of Ukraine can be handed over to the Russia in the exchange of ceasefire. This has become important, as I mentioned, the Russia and Ukraine war is entering into the new territory, and this is become very important for India to maintain a good ties with Russia also and Ukraine also. So Donald Trump's recent deal in the Gaza and Israel has raised the hope for the similar ceasefire deal between the USA, Russia and Ukraine. Okay, but Russia, Ukraine's prime minister, UK's president is not willing to give secede the territory. But as the things stand, this is the important Donbass region, then the Levonostok region and Kharkiv region. All these regions are now controlled by the Russia, and this is important for us to remember this reason to get the idea if UPSC asks tomorrow the question country and their reasons. Okay, UPSC had asked the question earlier on the countries reasons. Okay, so it is your responsibility to take care of the country, region, and which area this is found. Okay, so by this note, I will end our today's discussion. We have discussed a number of topics like Irani Chinama, consumer price index, the Russia, ASEAN, okay, and the overall police reforms. Okay, if anyone want to join our mentorship program, they are most welcome. There is dedicated programming, there is dedicated plan to follow the target oriented approach for the upcoming 2026 prelims. Okay, so don't waste time and don't spend more time on the spoiling the environment. Take care of your health and take care of the environment health. Okay, and there was artificial rain approval has given by the Minister Directorate of Civil Aviation in Delhi because of the Diwali. There is air pollution issue, so artificial rain has sitting rain clouding. So this is important because UPSC 2025 asked the question: what are the chemicals used? Okay, the small things you remember and go through the PIB, go through the All India Radio, get the idea and the news instead of the spending 2 to 3 hours on the newspaper. Okay, so do remember this, and I will end my today's discussion. I will come once again tomorrow with a new topic, new energy, and a new topic with same energy. Okay, bye. Jai Hind.